Right now, there is a measles outbreak in West Texas that keeps getting worse. And it's spreading into New Mexico. And in this area of Texas, there is a very low vaccination rate. This is the result of increased anti-vaccine sentiment that is at a fever pitch right now and has been since the pandemic, creating a political movement strong enough that it is now kind of incorporated into MAGA. MAHA is a part of MAGA, and RFK Jr. is Health and Human Services Secretary. As insane as that sentence is to say out loud, and I surprise myself as I say it out loud and how much it freaks me out, that's the case. So Pamela Brown had one of the RFK Jr.'s advisors on to talk about what's happening right now in Texas with this measles outbreak. And right now, the CDC just paused a meeting that they were supposed to have on the issue of vaccines, just delaying it indefinitely under RFK's leadership as Health and Human Services Secretary. They have stopped advertising for folks to get the flu vaccine as we're in the middle of one of the worst flu seasons. It's a mess. And there's also bird flu right now that has the capacity potentially to cross over to humans. And Elon Musk's Doge cut all those people, then realized what they had done because they just basically clicked Control All or Control F in a document and then pressed delete. And then realized, oh, these are the folks working on the bird flu that's making the egg prices go up, which Donald Trump said he wanted to bring down. Okay, can we hire you guys back, please? Civil servants, can you please come back? It's a disaster, and we're going to get 4 years of this. Here's one of RFK Jr.'s advisors talking about this measles outbreak.
And just to be clear, these are two separate issues. There's vaccines, which are proven safe and effective, and we're going to talk more about that. But then there's the issue of chronic disease caused by, the food that we're consuming, processed food, and all of that, which, as you both agree on, that needs to be dealt with. That needs to be a priority, of course, which is why, in many ways, RFK Jr. has gained so much popularity among many Americans on that issue. But I want to go to you, Callie, to respond. And also, with this measles threat, is it now a time to promote vaccines? Which, again, the CDC says safe, effective, that 2 doses are 90% effective against measles. Is it now a time to promote that, especially among children who are being impacted by measles in places like Texas and in these 6 states who are unvaccinated, according to health officials?
Pamela, with respect, why aren't you asking me about the fact that 50% of teens have obesity? Why aren't there are
I have other questions for you, but we're talking about this.
Day after day after day, Pamela. It's breathless coverage of 5 measles cases.
You sound breathless.
Why aren't we asking why 16% of COVID deaths worldwide were Americans when we're only 4% of the world population? Because the CDC...
Pause it.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
You know why? Because of cranks like you. Because of cranks like you saying that the vaccine wasn't safe and effective, then when we know it was a safe and effective at reducing transmission and severity, and then there were obviously variants, and we've had updated versions of that mRNA vaccine that have still protected people. And by the way, these were the vaccines greenlit by Donald Trump, the president who you now apparently serve with Operation Warp Speed, which was actually very successful, but the left would have done it differently. We wouldn't have just given billions and billions of dollars to big pharma. We would have said, okay, we'll subsidize you to research it, but we own it after.
I hate these people so much. The death in this country preceded the vaccine because our ultimate priority was not public safety, but getting people back to work so they can serve the type of people that give these people money to go spew their goddamn bullshit on CNN. How disgusting. Talking about obesity in kids, that's because of our food system, you idiot. Like, that's...
Yeah, agreed. You want to reform that? But then what? The lazy whataboutism. Pamela Brown did made a painstaking effort at the beginning of that question to say we are taking into consideration all these other things that you are throwing out there to distract from the fact that you're actually anti-vax. But can we deal with this measles outbreak where over 100 cases are now being reported between West Texas and New Mexico combined? Can we have that discussion? Oh, no, wait, another whataboutism.
Of COVID deaths worldwide were Americans when we're only 4% of the world population because the CDC said our immune system. No, it is related, Pamela, and let me say why. because the entire coverage of Bobby Kennedy is around measles. The Democrats said the word measles 25 times in the first hearing and said the words obesity, diabetes, and chronic disease 0 times. The HHS priority document under President Biden said the word equity 25 times, said the word vaccines.
Sorry, pause it one more second. I really get frustrated hearing people like this talk and think they should be muzzled. But just say there's a reason that measles comes up with RFK, because he has a history of lying or spewing his bullshit about vaccines that kills people. You search RFK, American Samoa. He's killed kids with his bullshit.
And now it's spreading to West Texas. It's Texas State Department health data shows that the vast majority of cases are among people younger than 18, and it's mostly concentrated with kids who are unvaccinated or under-vaccinated, meaning they've maybe only had 1 dose. But keep going.
Did not say the word obesity or diabetes. There is a problem right now because this is not zero. This is zero sum. We are focused on a very small subset that's important. We need good infectious disease management. Bobby Kennedy, Dr. Offit, is not correct. Bobby Kennedy has said one thing about vaccines and one thing only, that they should be studied like any other product. Dr. Offit on the ACIP committee has recommended vaccines that have ended up being recalled.
When he says they should be studied, he says that I don't trust any of the studies that have been done for decades about things like autism and vaccines. I think it needs to be studied until it confirms my biases. And you're really stupid if you can't understand that. Go ahead.
Nearly 1 in 5 incoming kindergartners in that area in Gaines County did not get the vaccine. That 18% vaccine exemption rate for the county is one of the highest in the state, according to data from the WOKES. Oh, actually, it's the Texas Department of State Health Services. So, what a coincidence that measles is outbreaking in the area that has one of the highest vaccine exemption rates in the state.
I just looked up what this guy is, what TrueMed is. TrueMed is a company that helps people use their health savings accounts and flexible spending accounts. That dumb financial bullshit is part of the reason why Americans die, is because no parasite like this idiot, Callie Means, is that his name? Yeah. No parasites like him should be even involved in healthcare.
Yeah.
Doing some sort of no, it should be public insurance, publicly paid for. Not this fancy new tax scheme to get some people health care. This guy is a parasite.
But these are the anti-vaxxers. They are the people. They are basically financiers or trying to make money off of it. What happened? Wasn't RFK Jr.'s like a charitable organization taking a bunch of shady donations and it was offshore or something like that? This is a business for these people selling you snake oil. So an 18% vaccine exemption rate in this area that's getting this measles outbreak. Across the country, the national average is 4%. So it must just be a total coincidence. But keep going.
Small subsect that's important. We need good infectious disease management. Bobby Kennedy, Dr. Offit, is not correct. Bobby Kennedy has said one thing about vaccines and one thing only, that they should be studied like any other product.
That's not true.
Dr. Offit on the ACIP committee has recommended vaccines that have ended up being recalled for causing mass issues to kids. Bobby Kennedy has written multiple books, not about being anti-vax, but about having good science. And Dr. Offit is calling him anti-vaccine for literally just saying we need studies. Bobby Kennedy is not concerned with measles. He wants good policies with measles. He wants to attack the 92% of deaths in the United States, which is chronic conditions.
Measles. All right. Well,
that's a charlatan bullshit. And again, I'm sorry to make it about CNN. Why do a capitalist who is profiting off healthcare get invested with some sort of credibility on these issues?
I mean, it's because I think he's actually an RFK Jr. advisor. I'm not sure if it's formal, but it is crazy to set it up like it's some sort of debate.
Like he's a doctor.
They had, we'll play it at another time because it's a long clip, but Dr. Peter Hotez went on with Anderson Cooper, hopefully later that night, and explained it very clearly. But it's absolutely, it's devastating. And this disinformation is going to cause more high unvaccinated rates. And you can still, if your kid is vaccinated and you're doing all the right things, if this is circulating around and mutating, it still has the ability to affect your family. It really could kill kids. And this is the kind of thing that we had previously eradicated. So
this sort of thing has me back in my 2008 era, Skeptic's Guide to the Universe, scientific skepticism, F you anti-vax idiots. Like, I hate these people. These people are evil. They are attacking our civilization. They are killing kids. Again, like, there is already a record. There's already a body count associated with RFK and measles, and all these people are too chicken shit to actually acknowledge what was actually done there. It's actually, no, I didn't have a big role in that. I was just doing this. It's pushing me to the limits of acceptable broadcasting.
they're also lying about the idea that he never said anything about vaccines. He said on a podcast 2 years ago saying that he's like casting aspersions on the measles vaccine. He was caught on camera saying that that COVID was a bioweapon, bioengineered to protect Ashkenazi Jews and Chinese people. I mean, it's a lunatic.
And he's saying all this stuff about, oh, he only says this, or actually he said this, and the thing. That's because every anti-vax person, including the ones watching this right now, they are chicken shits, afraid to acknowledge what they actually believe because it's fucking laughable. Because really what it is fear of needles and anxiety being glossed up as some charlatan Kennedy aristocrat gets to tell you that actually this is meaningful. It's not meaningful. And Jimmy Dore and all these other people who have fed into this stuff, I think they deserve to get. We're having this conversation about in Brazil about banning Rumble and Lula and all the free speech, like Glenn Greenwald's talking about all the threat to free speech. The Pentagon, this is a matter of public record, spread anti-vax propaganda in China. China had a right, and they were justified in doing so, suppressing that speech, because anti-vax stuff is contrary to a functioning society. And we'd be justified to do it here too.
Absolutely. And to close on this, it's just not in question. The vaccine for measles, mumps and rubella, the MMR vaccine, safe, highly effective. It was introduced in 1963, when the United States saw some 3 to 4 million cases of measles per year. Now, it's usually fewer than 200 in a normal year. But now we have over 100 cases between Texas and New Mexico right now.
Hey folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.